Welcome back to Remove Before Race. We've been anxious to do this one. It's finally time to road test the beast of the green hell. The AMG GT R is the current flagship of the Mercedes AMG family and the first AMG to come with the R model designation, sitting above the S model cars. It roars to 60 in 3.6 seconds with 585 brake horsepower and 700 Newton meters of torque going to the rear wheels. That's 65 Newton meters more than even the SLS Black, clearly showing the benefits of the new turbo engine. Armed with this, the spawn of the Nürburgring set a time at the ring of 7 minutes and 11 seconds, a new record with Sport Auto, beating their time even with the 918 Spider hypercar. But a flagship Black Series is still rumoured to come. So what is the purpose of the R model? So let's break down what the GTR is in essence, and it was probably said best by AMG boss Tobias Morse. It combines the driving dynamics of the AMG GT3 racing car with the everyday practicality of the AMG GT, and that is essentially what the GTR is. But let's break down further what it is exactly that AMG changed in this car. Where was carbon fiber used? What racing technologies were brought from the GT3 and what remained from the AMG GT, so you get a whole picture of what actually changed in this car. Now let's talk about the design of the AMG GT R. The first thing that everybody notices, and it's a feature that this car introduced to the AMG range, and you're going to see it across pretty much all the cars going in the future, is the Pan America grille. But it was first actually seen in a Mercedes 300 SL back in 1952 in a road race in Mexico. In fact, it was called the Panamericana road race, which that car won. So that's why this links back to that heritage, that racing heritage, and we're going to see this come across more AMGs in the future. Now, we spoke about the wide fenders that are made of carbon fiber on the front, and these add 46 millimeters on each side compared to the standard AMG GT, and that makes the width of the GTR even wider than that of the SLS Black Series, which was a huge car if you've seen it in person. What else have they changed? Well, if we keep going around, so on the side here we have a special wing signet which is actually got the AMG logo design on it, and this vent here brings out excess heat from the engine, so it's not just a design. The rear arches are also wider compared to the AMG GT, and again we have another vent here releasing excess heat. And then you've got the famed triple exhaust system. The system is unique to the GTR and is made of titanium, thus shaving off 6 kilograms. The central exhaust is a first for an AMG, and the 2 additional exhausts are hidden on each side and enclosed by carbon fiber. The result is a unique sound profile, and the double declutching when downshifting creates some insane bangs. And generally the car itself is just a lot wider, and it gives, because it's slightly shorter than the SLS, but that much wider than the SLS Black, you get this almost square feel when you look at the car in person. It's really intimidating. The interior design is largely unchanged from the fantastic AMG GT, and the main attraction is still that V8 design center console, along with the aeronautical influences like having buttons above the driver's head. But what sets the beast apart is that traction control knob. So let's talk about carbon fiber in the GTR. The use of it is extensive and it's all done for weight saving. So the front fenders, the roof, the rear spoiler, and there's a front part under the engine bay on the floor panel, which is carbon fiber, all done for weight saving. There's also a cross tunnel on the rear, which sits under the exhaust system and the torque tube, which stiffens the car during heavy driving and saves weight. And there's 2 diagonal struts in the engine bay which also do the same, and they save about 50% weight compared to steel parts in the AMG GT. There's been quite a lot of talk of aerodynamics and aerodynamic technology for the GTR, and it's mainly on the front end. So we've got ultra light carbon fiber on the front, which extends at the bottom underneath the engine to reduce lift on the front end at high speeds. But we've also got something called active air management, which is at the bottom just behind where I've got the plate, and we'll do a close-up to show you. There are 14 panels which open and close to let air in, and thus reduce wind resistance for high top speed, reduced fuel consumption and increased stability at the rear axle. But there's also stuff that's adjustable, just like in the GT3 car, for when you're doing track work. So you can manually adjust the fixed seats, you can manually adjust the rear spoiler and indeed the suspension. So this is all coming straight out of motorsport into the hands of the driver, and it can be adjusted based on what track you're driving on. Let's not forget the most obvious internal difference, the 9-stage traction control from the AMG GT3, aka the naughty button, which calculates the maximum target slip of the rear wheels and dispenses the engine power accordingly. Now let's go through some of the spec options you can have in an AMG GT. You will have seen mine, if you've seen my collection video. It's quite a track, it's set up more as a track car. It's got the roll cage and a few other bits for that we'll show you. But I didn't just want to show you a car that was set up for track, I wanted to give you a bit of variety. So, thanks to Mercedes Benz of Beaconsfield, we have been lent another green GTR, which is pretty much the opposite spec of my car. It's set up more for road use. So now let's have a look at both cars, and it will pretty much cover all the options that you can have inside a GTR. Both cars are finished in Magno Green Hell, which is the colour named after the legendary North Loop of the Nürburgring where the car was developed. Both cars also have all the carbon appointments that we mentioned earlier in the review, along with Command in the UK as standard. Both cars have the premium pack, which you'll find on pretty much every GTR in the UK, and come with stuff like the mirror pack with the holographic AMG logo, and things like keyless go entry. The road use car features the black Napa interior with the grey detailing, which is one of only 3 options available in the GTR. The stitching colour flows throughout the car, and if you don't select carbon, those areas are replaced with piano black trim or plastic. The car also comes with illuminated side sills. But the main difference between the two cars are the AMG performance seats in this car. These are supremely comfortable, and we'll talk about them more later. As with all GTs, the view behind the driver is great, and not hindered by the big wing either. If carbon was selected, the strut behind the driver would also be carbon. Next onto the track car, and this features the AMG track package, along with the Recaro bucket seats, and has the exclusive black Napa and yellow stitching interior. It also has the full interior carbon package, which looks amazing alongside the yellow stitching. This car also has the carbon side sills, but they're not illuminated. The track back comes with the 4-point harness from Schroth, along with the original seatbelts if you need them. But the best thing about the track pack is that gorgeous roll cage in the body colour of the car. It just looks amazing, but does hinder the driver's sight from behind. However, the roll cage does not affect the boot capacity at all, which is fantastic. The road car features the standard silver multi-spoke alloy wheels, and the track one has the satin black ones in the same design. The GTR is the first AMG to feature yellow calipers with the steels, and our track car has the awesome carbon ceramics. Right, enough talk. Let's actually drive these, but before I do that, I want to introduce you to 2 very special people who will be coming along with me on the drive. I've invited 2 very special guests who are proper car YouTubers. They don't just wrap cars and show you new exhaust systems, they actually drive properly. So first we've got Sideways Sid, who's known for skidding absolutely everything, normally to his detriment. And we've got Joe Achilles, who's Mr. BMW to my Mr.AMG. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good, man.
What's your first, like when you look at the GTR as soon as you see it, what's your first impression?
Very green.
Very green?
Yeah, very green.
Apart from
really green.
Obnoxiously green colour, what hits you?
I look at it, I see a GT race car. It's a GT3 race car. Loads of presence, the stance, and then you fire it up, and obviously you got the sound as well.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. It really looks like a race car for the road. Yeah, I have to say, I mean, I haven't moved your seating position at all here, and this to me is perfect. I like being quite close to the steering wheel.
In fact, my bucket seats are on probably one of the highest settings at the moment, so
yeah,
if you've got decent room, that's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, I've got about 2 inches above my head, which is very unusual. And I'm looking through glass at a lot of sports cars and supercars, especially older ones. I'm looking at the sun visor. So, like in fact, the SLS, I just feel like I'm sitting a little bit higher.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So you actually sit lower in this car than you did in the SLS?
No, you actually sit higher.
Okay.
You do sit higher, but there is just more headroom. They've made that part of the cabin, even though it's the same.
See, I've never sat in
Bit
it.
roomier.
Am I sitting it?
As long as you don't skid it.
Too late. Too late. Well, instantly, so it's a fixed seat.
This is a fixed seat.
Okay, and this is like the high set.
Yeah.
Okay, so instantly, I still feel like I'm sitting really low, like there's headroom actually. car than you do get in the SLS. Steering wheel nice and close to your chest. I suppose that's fully adjustable, isn't it?
Yeah, that is.
And the pedals are really nice too. Although they do feel like they're a little bit offset, but that's a Mercedes thing, isn't it?
It is, unfortunately. I'm used to it, so it's like people say offset, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's just normal.
Yeah, well, no, you don't think of it until you look at your feet, and then you go, oh.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, with the auto.
You're not going to worry about stuff like that anyway. I do like this traction control work.
Oh, the naughty button.
It just stares at you in the face, doesn't it?
Take your hand off that, please.
That's it. But to look at though, it's just a quality thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you put the 4-point harness in, which I just think it instantly adds 100 horsepower. I'd wear it to McDonald's drive-through. It's so awesome.
You've seen me in the Costa drive-through.
Yeah, I have. I have. So it's really
Tesco,
useful.
Sainsbury's
everywhere.
4-point harness
School
all the way.
And the great thing about this is, although it's the most hardcore track version of the AMG GT, it's still a usable car. You've got a radio, you've got the Burmaster sound system. You know,
oh yeah, it's
full of luxury.
Same appointments as you get in the GTS. In comfort with the exhaust on or off, it's just a totally normal Merc.
Proper Jekyll and Hyde sort of car.
It is, and that duality has always been at the sort of the heart of any AMG. It's had to have total comfort and total mentalness on the other side.
Yep.
And these still do that. It's not like it's too far down the performance side of things.
Sure.
Right, so should we go for a drive?
Nah. Yes.
Right, you go over there. You can't have one.
I can't have one of these. Is that
Push
it?
off. No, not for you.
See you soon.
Right, so now it's time for the road test, which is the most important part of this review. You've seen me take the AMG GT R on a track at Mercedes Benz World with fellow Remove Before Race member and the drift god himself, Elliot Cole. But what you haven't seen yet is me drive this car on normal roads, and that is really where the GTR shines, because it's all well and good having a car that's a track car and made up for track and all the rest of it, but the true joy of a road car comes on the road. And as I mentioned earlier in the review, Tobias Moore's made very clear that this is a GT3 technology car, but with the everyday use of an AMG GT. So let's see how true that is. Now, I've had about 1,500 miles in my car. This car's done double that, so it's well run in, it's well bedded in. I'm going to cover this as much as I can and give you a bit of insight as to how my car has been in comparison. And Joe, Mr. BMW, is going to take a look at the car from his first impression, really. I expect he's going to be gobsmacked and very, very happy.
Wow, you probably see some fear in my eyes there, but it's more excitement than fear.
Oh look, up here Sid has joined us as well in another crazy AMG V8.
So I've been booted off the AMG GTRs, which is no bad thing, because I've just called in a mate and asked if I could borrow his SLS instead. This one is the predecessor to the AMG GTR, but they are quite similar in sort of chassis and subframe. So the whole rear subframe is identical, and so is the sort of layout with the engine. So it's still a front mid-engine car. So it has the M159 6.2 litre normally aspirated V8. I had to chuck that code name out there for you AMG fanatics. 570 horsepower and lots of revs. This car's just angry, angry, angry. Oh, now following Joe Achilles in the AMG GT R, and I tell you what, oh, this is good fun. This is real good fun.
So, this is my first impression of the Mercedes AMG GTR. Yeah, shock. I'm blown away by this car. I really am. It is absolutely incredible. It's the biggest event. I mean, we all know AMGs are events, but a lot of that is down to the V8s and the V8 noise, which you can hear right now. But this is a lot more than that. It really is. Now, some of you might know that the Porsche Cayman GT4 is my absolute favourite car, and that's because I really like precision. I love precision. I love just organic feeling, precise cars. And I'd heard amazing things about these. Obviously, I'd watched Chris Harris rave on about them, say it's almost as good as a GT3 RS, which is about the biggest praise I think you could give any car. But spending some time in it today, it is just mega.
AMGs have come a long way. Where have they been all about power and a little lack of sophistication, which is not a bad thing to say, more in the fact that it's just a load of fun in a cloud of tyre smoke and loads of skinny stuff. Well, the tables have changed for AMG. They're now making serious cars that can take on the likes of the BMW M4 GTS or hence the GT3 RS.
They've got the handling just spot on, and a lot of the credit goes to the big boss Tobias Moores. He is a racer himself. He understands how important it is for a car to handle as well as have power, and it really shows in this car. This is the gemstone of the AMG lineup right now, and rightfully so.
Now we've got the optional track pack in here or something, I'm making that up, but it's like got the proper harnesses and the proper seats, and they're comfortable enough. They give you decent support. The harness helps with the support. I have to say though, the standard seats that are in the car that are in front of me, that Raz is driving, I actually prefer them. I think they offer just as much support and they're far more comfortable. They can be heated as well. So yeah, but then I want the cage. I love the cage and the drama in this car, and apparently you can't have them combined because Mercedes like to do all these silly packages and whatever else.
And the big difference between this car and mine is this has got the performance seats, which are optional in the GT, otherwise you get the back end like mine as standard without the roll cage. And these seats, I swear by them. I got a lot of questions on Instagram asking, look, how good are the performance seats? Should I get them in my E63 or my C63? I'm worried. Is my back going to hurt after a long journey? Will my family be comfortable? Now, I've had these seats since the original A45 launch, and I've had it in every car since, because no matter how many miles I do, they are just so comfortable and really hold you well. I'd liken them to the original C63 W204 series and those lovely seats that particular car had. It's got a very similar shape, and it just hugs you really well. I've had no back issues at all with it. The Recaros in my GTR are a bit of a different story. They don't hug you from here, they hug you from the shoulders, and when you're doing speeds, that's really great, and it keeps you right in position. You're not going anywhere. But I'll admit I use a little old man pillow just to prop myself forward to stop my shoulders from curving when I'm doing normal driving. Now, this 4 litre in the GTR has been upped from 510 in the GTS to 585 brake horsepower, as I noted earlier. Now that's no small jump in horsepower, and it's been done by new turbochargers in the engine, increased boost pressure as well, and you really do feel it. And it's not something that you felt was lacking in the GTS, but when it comes into the GTR, the power is there when you need it. It's not overwhelming as it is in a lot of supercars which are close to 600 brake horsepower. It doesn't lose any of its daily use or its ability to be used daily, which is part of the promise that AMG has made with this car, that should you need the power will be there. And that links very nicely to the 9-stage traction control system, because with the naughty button you can decide how much power goes into the rear wheels, how much slip you have, just like in the GT3, and you will only get that much power going into the car. So it's all a linked philosophy.
You've not only got that incredible 4 litre twin turbo V8, which makes all the right sounds, makes all the right cracks and pops and bangs, and oh, it's just mega. It gives you incredible power. It doesn't feel like it's got torque, it's got power, it likes to rev out. It's just perfect, the perfect blend of everything. You know, it's not just one big lump of power, or it's not gutless down low. It's got so much torque.
you can just tell that once those turbos sort of spool up, they rocket and pellet down the road like no other.
It's all very well having all that power and sound and whatever, but the chassis that it's bolted to is just perfect. We've got Cup 2 tyres on here, huge. I don't know what size they are. Big. 285, 295s, maybe bigger. But the chassis is just so pliant. And it puts the power down with no problem. And even when I'm in Sport Plus or individual, the hardest setting that I'm in now, I'm still getting good suspension travel. We're in South Bucks, the roads are terrible here, but it's not skipping across the surface to the corners.
It's doing phenomenally well of dealing with the bumps, but you still have the feedback that you want from the steering. Those little signals you want the car to give you as a driver, they're coming through. I say that and I hit a gigantic hole in the road, and again, I'm not shaken up by it. It's not like I've suddenly displaced my spine having hit a hole in the road. Now, as you guys who follow me on Instagram would know, we had the 488 and the Hurricane Spider for quite a long time in the Veloster fleet, so I had quite a lot of use of those cars. And they're very, very different to this. The joy of the whole AMG GT series, including the GTR, comes from the 0 to 70 mile an hour speed range. Now obviously you can have fun beyond that, but in that particular range, which is say 90% of your daily driving, these cars are just so incredibly fun. The sound you get out of them, the joy of the little steering feedback you get, just the playability of the chassis itself, and most importantly, they're not wimps in the low range, the low speed range. You get so much good and immediate power, just like the SLS had. It feels almost identical in power delivery, and I think they made quite a noise about this AMG when the GT first came out, that the power curve of the new turbo engine is almost identical to that of the 6.2, so you hardly notice. In fact, I've never noticed any turbo lag ever since I've owned the original new C63S that came out to every car since. These engines have been rock solid. It's so clever. Now I'm driving Sport Plus, I'm driving fairly conservatively, and the car understands that I don't want to drive fast. It understands that I want to take it slow, and it's learnt immediately the gearbox, which we can't say about all supercars. They tend to have an all-on or all-off persona, which isn't great for daily driving.
So the gearbox are quite similar. They're made by Cadrak, which is a 7-speed dual-clutch system, but has a lot of lubrication, so it fires and slinks straight into the next cog. I'd love to know what the upshifts are like in the GTR.
I've not tried an AMG box that's as precise and responsive as this one. It really just changes, like, it's so fast. Look at that, that was almost down onto the red line there, no problems. I've never had an AMG box do that before. I don't know what AMG and Mercedes speak is for their boxes, but it's just a brilliant piece of kit. I mean, this out on track would just be mega.
From Joe, it's unbelievable.
The bangs are amazing now. I'm doing 40 miles an hour at the moment, and that sounds incredible. I mean, AMGs are like musical instruments now. You can just play with the exhaust, just with the
I suppose the turning would be a bit better on the GTR because it's got rear wheel steering, and you can see it work as you drive down the B road, which is just so cool.
Let's talk about the rear wheel steering. This is something that I didn't mention earlier in the review, because to perceive it and to understand it, you must drive the car. Now, we discussed it briefly on the track run with Elliot, but you feel it even more on the open road. Now, when I'm doing these little turns, the wheelbase of the car feels like it shrinks, and that works by anything under 100 km. The rear wheels turn in the opposite direction of the front wheels, thereby making the car turn in much better, and that works for parking as well, and your turning circle, etc. And the effect you get is, at least while driving dynamically, it's almost like you're on rails or on a roller coaster, or you're driving a go-kart. It's a fantastic feeling, and it negates the sort of jumpy rear that you had on the limit with both the SLS and the GTS, and gives you just a very fluid turn. And you can see then why the GTR has been achieving such fantastic track times. But the cleverness of the rear wheel steer doesn't end there. Anything above 100 km, the wheels turn in the same direction as the front wheels, thereby making the car feel like it has a longer wheelbase and giving you more stability at higher speeds. It's a fantastically well-designed system, and it's effortless, and you feel it even as a novice driver while you're driving this car.
And part of the amazing turning and precision of this car is down to the fact that it's actually got four-wheel steer. So a bit like that Alpina B7, I'm talking to you guys like you know my channel and you don't, but I recently tested an Alpina B7 that had four-wheel steer, and that was incredible, and I just got used to it. When you jump back into a car that hasn't got it, you realise how much work the rear wheels are doing, even though they're only moving, what, 2 or 3 degrees. Suddenly the load in the corner comes off, and the car just turns and goes, and then you get better drive out of it as well, because you know the wheels are almost, it's hard to explain. I can't explain it evidently, but then the brakes, the first time I touched these brakes were just, I was just blown away. You literally have to hover your foot over the brake pedal and it will throw you through the window. I think that's part of the reason you got the harness, is because without this, a normal seatbelt would just throw me through the window. I haven't even stomped on the brakes. You don't need to, they're just so precise and there.
Now the brakes in this car, as we mentioned earlier, are the steel brakes. We've got the carbon ceramics in mine, which Joe will fill you in no doubt. But these feel really good as well, and I love those carbon ceramics, and I've been trying to find a way to make the steel sound better and not to spend the extra, but I've had it now in the C63S Motorsport, where I never even got a squeak out of them. I've had it in the old SLS, I've got it in the GTR, and they don't squeak. They haven't got fade in the low speeds like a lot of systems do. They're just brilliant, they're rock solid, and these steels are not far off.
But I wonder what that car is actually like in terms of how it sits on the road, because this obviously is a wide car, but the GTR has also got a wider track, in fact wider than the GTS, if I'm right in saying.
One major change of the GTR over the GTS, and indeed the SLS, is how wide this car is. Now, it's about an inch wider than the SLS Black Series as well, which was a big car, and when you're going slow, I think you do feel the width. This is not going in any parking, any car parks. You know, width restrictors, do a U-turn, it's not happening. But do you feel it when you're driving? Do you feel like this humongous beast? You don't, and those of you who have driven the SLS and the GT will know that these cars, they just shrink around you as soon as you start picking up speed. But that's half the charm. I think cars like the McLaren 540 or the 570, being so small and not that wide, they lose a bit of that drama that you have from a properly wide supercar. Now, unlike the 911 GT3s or the GT3 RS, you can walk into Mercedes-Benz showroom today and order one of these. They're not only going to sell it to their best mates or people with a 100-car Porsche collection. You can go to the showroom, you can order one of these and they're not going to discriminate against you, which is great, because an owner like me who's had cars like these, I'd love to own a Porsche GT3 for a while and see what it's like. But it's very unfortunate that that's not how they currently do business. Hopefully it's something that changes in the future.
I wonder how Joe feels, because he's Mr. BMW. I wonder if he's been converted to the AMG.
So impressed, and I know a lot of people call me the BMW man, and that's mostly only because I get my hands on BMWs only. But, you know, I'm happy to try and test everything, and I love most things German, and especially AMGs. In my opinion, the current AMG lineup is better than the current M car lineup, for sure. Not even including.
That bit really well too, which is very important in AMGs. I think it's a religious thing to do skids in a Mercedes AMG.
My biggest compliment is it is a GT4. It's a Cayman GT4 on steroids. It's a bigger, faster. It's a supercar version of the Cayman GT4. GT4 is a very focused sports car. This is a proper supercar with proper supercar looks, proper supercar sounds. So hats off to you, Mercedes. This is a product, and I think it's 150 odd grand. Probably this one's what, 165 with options, maybe 170. I don't know what you can spend on them option wise, but let's call it 150 grand car base. If you told me this was 250 grand, I would still be just as blown away. The plastic bits on the steering wheel would upset me a little bit more, but I would still think it was worth every penny of 250 grand for sure. For sure. If I won the lottery tonight, I'd go out and buy one of these. Tonight. I would offer Raz money for his one, just so I could have it tonight, so I could drive this home now. Killer. Absolutely killer.
You really can't beat this. 2 green GTRs, a beautiful silver SLS, and some wonderful country roads. This has been an awesome experience. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that as a on real roads test of the GTR, with some extra feedback from Joe Achilles on his first drive, and Sideways Sid chasing us like a lunatic as always. So please do like and subscribe to their channels. I've left links in the description box below. But as I said, they are genuine car YouTubers. You're not going to have nonsense about their ownership or wrapping or putting stickers on the car. They will review cars. Sid's case, he will skid and drift everything that he can get his hands on, which is great fun to watch. He recently reviewed the SLS that he's currently driving, and it's a great video. If you want to see more of them on the Remove Before Race channel, they're basically honorary members now. So let us know if you want to see them. And yeah, do like and subscribe and share as always. This is still a small channel which has been doing incredibly well, thanks to you guys, and thanks to all of you from Instagram coming over as well. But thank you so much for watching as always, and we'll definitely see you again soon.
What a day. 3 raucous AMGs, 3 brown people, and a whole load of fun. I wonder what the GTR's like for skids. Hey Raz, do you reckon you let me do some skids?
This one's for Sideways Sid, yeah? Watch me drift. Watch me drift, guys.
So should we do it on lightness then? So
Yeah, one sec, on the fence.
Oh, yeah.
It will definitely go.
Blow my cover.
Yeah, good.
Shit, we're pretty similar.
Yeah,
aren't
pretty brown. He can be black.
Yeah. Oh look, well,
Oh, no.
actually, we'll be.
Yeah, we'll be black.
One sec.
Right, that's going to outtakes for sure.
I just need to get the air cool before it melts into a chocolate crisp. Unlike other car YouTubers, drivers who talk about rapping.
These guys actually like driving.
Yeah. Compare the 720S to an RB10.
Yeah.
Stunning. Oh, the noise is just mega. Let me put the window down.
Somebody call Batman. Where's Sid in his dodgy backpack? Oh.
Which one do you like?